Me myself, I've been playing. Aside from Metal Gear Solid, I've been playing Super Mario. Sorry, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door.
Oh,
The
great.
remake for the Switch.
Are we getting a review out of
Enjoying
that?
it a lot. To my knowledge, there's not that much new content to warrant a review.
All right.
No.
I guess.
I will say I got lucky when I drafted that game when I did for Fantasy Critic because I'm in the Fantasy Critic Discord, and they talk about eligibility debates. And the creator of Fantasy Critic said that now, knowing I think a couple months leading up to its release, it would have been put under remaster instead, in that different other category, which wouldn't have made it eligible for us.
But it's a remake.
But it's not.
Is it not?
I mean, I don't know. He said that he would have changed the eligibility. It's the same game.
See, this is my thing. But that doesn't matter if it's the same game, but they remade it. Like Last of Us Part 1 is the same game, but they remade it. The only thing that's recycled is the cutscenes and the voice acting. Everything else they rebuilt from the ground up.
Let me ask you this: would you qualify the Super Mario 3D All Stars collection as remakes?
No. This is
the same treatment.
Is it? No, because
Yes.
it looks like way better, doesn't it? Like they changed models and shit, didn't they?
I don't think so. Not from what I've seen.
Does anyone here intimately know the original enough to know that?
I played it when I was really, really young, so I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head.
What was that even on originally?
GameCube.
GameCube? Makes sense.
Yep.
I thought DS for a second, but that wouldn't make much sense.
Yeah. I'm looking at comparisons, and they do look very similar, but I think that just tells of how good no, these are different games. Now that I'm looking at some of the background assets and stuff, like the way the shadows are happening.
There was some fun background stuff that wasn't in the original game that is just background jokes, but there's nothing. To the core contents of the game, nothing has changed.
Nobody understands what a remake is, and it's just well, yeah, but the core content of The Last of Us Part 1 hasn't changed. It is the same game again. They just remade it.
But I'm saying
it was remade again.
You change how the combat is in that game. You know, like you said yourself, it takes the newer combat from Last of Us Part 2 and it puts it into.
But it doesn't.
Last of Us Part 1. But you said that it does.
No. It is just Last of Us 1 again.
I thought you said
the
that
only
before.
thing that's different, and this is minute, is it's not even changing how the bow and arrow works. It's just the UI for the bow and arrow has changed to be unified with Part 2.
I swear at some point you mentioned that they updated the combat to be in line with Last of Us Part 2.
That was what I wanted them to do.
Oh, okay.
I wanted them
That's
to
why I'm
have
confused.
I wanted them to have the prone and crawling under objects and just all the fidelity in the melee combat of Part 2. I wanted that in Part 1, but they didn't do that. They just made Part 1 again.
Okay, then the answer right now for if you're going to get a review is probably not, because I haven't encountered anything new enough to warrant one.
But here's my thing is why are we expecting remakes to be more than what they are? If you remake a game, it's a remake. What they say it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell Paper Mario looked like before, but if they changed fundamentally how certain things, even if it's visuals, look and act, then I think that would also consider a remake.
Look at the shelf and how the shadows are working on the shelf. You can't just get that from a remaster.
I'll take your word for that, because I couldn't tell you. Maybe that's part of the reason why people are kind of just it's not a remake, it's a remastered. Because the changes are all.
I think it's just
level.
people just don't understand the difference between these things. It's just they remade it. It doesn't matter if it plays the same or acts the same or feels the same. They remade it. They went from zero and made it again.
The way it feels to me, it's like the 3D All Stars collection, where it's basically a port. I don't know. That's how it feels.
I think people need to go back and look at the original game, because it does look different. You have to squint and focus on details, it's real hard to find the differences, but they're there. Like, I'm just seeing them in the images now. Like, the lighting's way different. Some of the models are different. And just the way things are layered. Now, I think they look very similar, but I think that's just a testament to how good the art style was in the original game. This is not a hard conversation, but everybody makes it hard. Like,
Or do you make it hard?
Okay, so I'm not trying to get like heated here, or like tempered fire or anything like that.
Right.
But like when we talk about the Final Fantasy VII remake,
yes,
like this isn't like to the same level, is what I'm saying. It's not like, oh, we're splitting this one big game into 3 different parts.
Yeah,
focusing on all these different parts.
Right, but you will never get that ever again. The fact we're getting it now is a miracle. This doesn't happen. They are essentially Mass Effect trilogying the Final Fantasy VII, and that shouldn't be a thing, but it is. Like, the fact that it's happening is a miracle. So that should not be the bar. The bar should be Last of Us Part 1 or the Resident Evil HD remake or the Twin Snakes remake. What they're doing with Resident Evil like 2, 3, and 4 is incredibly impressive, but that's because you just can't package that game again because those games are so old.
Okay, then I think that I hate that they called the Final Fantasy VII remake trilogy that. It should be like the director's cut. You know, it should just be that. Director's cut would be more confusing.
Remake that would be so much more confusing, and there are
so much more apt. Like,
no, there are subtextual like meta commentary, character motivation, reasonings behind the titling of that. And also, they're just taking the concept of a remake way further. Because nobody wants, well, that's not true. There is people who do just want a traditional remake of the original game with just updated textures and quality of life improvements and all those things. Of course, we want that. But they're saying, no, let's do the full 3D, put some action combat in there, all this stuff. Like, they're going crazy bells and whistles. It is a remake. But, like, there's, a little bit of asterisk next to it. I don't understand. I don't understand why this is a difficult conversation to have with people. Like, I just don't. Like, remaster is that game with a little bit of polish on it. A remake is a recreation of that game. We have remade it. It can look and play and feel exactly the same. That's a testament to the quality of the remake. Bluepoint, with Shadow of the Colossus and with Demon Souls, remade those games. But they didn't remake the Uncharted trilogy. Those are just remasters. They didn't remake the PS3 remaster of Shadow of Colossus. What's the other one they did? Metal Gear. That's and then the Metal Gear Master Collection that we got is just a port of what Bluepoint did.
Then just let me say again, from how you describe a remaster, that's how this Thousand Year Door game is to me. It's a remaster. It's a
I
new
guess
fresh coat of paint
my
on
thing
it.
about it is this is not something up for interpretation. This is just what it is. They remade the game. It feels and plays exactly like the original. That is a testament to how good the original was.
Yeah, it sounds like you could say that even it being a remake didn't really improve upon anything the original game had to offer, but it does make sense if it was built again from the ground up, rather than just taking the form it was and tweaking it, which would be a remaster.
Even you wouldn't, well, you can't really tweak gameplay of a remaster. A remaster is really just upscaling resolutions, maybe improving. Well, it does get tricky with Mass Effect 1. What they did to Mass Effect 1 was a remaster, but they opened up all the old files and they changed, but they didn't start from zero with that. They took what was old and went in and changed code, but they didn't start from zero. So that is a remaster, but that is the higher end. Everything runs in scales, and that's a higher end of what a remaster can be. Whereas 3D All-Stars, they upscaled the resolution, but that's on the lower end of what you would do. It's just the amount of effort you want to put into a remaster.
So I just Googled difference between a remake and a remaster, and I get a link for Kavuru Games that has remaster, remake, reboot, and port here. I'm just going to read them off. Remaster, an improvement in the visuals of a game without interfering with the other aspects. Remake, a redesign of a game while retaining its key characters and story elements. A reboot, a new game with a fresh storyline, including some elements of the original game.
Yeah.
And a port, transferring and optimizing a video game to run on another platform.
Yeah.
And so with this thing, I would call this 1,000-Year Door game a remaster.
But what are you going to do to a turn-based RPG if you're keeping it as a turn-based RPG? Like, it's just going to be the same again. And if they're calling it a remake, that means they started from zero and remade it. They remade it almost to a T, but it's still like they started from nothing and built from there.
Holy shit, it is like hailing really bad outside.
Yeah, no, yeah, the storms are crazy. Yeah, they really are. I think we're okay. I don't think we're getting rained on, but yeah. My drive in when I hit Dallas was insane.
If it wouldn't totally fuck everything, I would point my camera towards the
that fuck everything. Yeah,
our little
let's
patio
not do
door.
that. Yeah.
It's real bad.
Yeah. So if we lose connection to Phil at any point, that's what happens.
That's exactly.
Yeah, there we go. Not that like I think this is a great conversation, but just for the sake of the show, I think we
can
should
always
move on.
Yeah.
To oh my god, was that
And here I was worried I wasn't going to get a breakout this week. Yeah.
No worries here,
Those
Tavin.
fucking ice cubes, dude.
What
Hang on, I'm gonna grab one of these ice cubes and show it on camera.
Oh, here he goes. He's running off for that hail.
This better be extremely impressive hail, otherwise our time would have been wasted.
Oh, if there's one thing Phil's good at, it's wasting our goddamn time.
That is true.
You know?
He's done it a couple times on this show.
Yeah, several. I think he did it not last week, but the week before.
He
Had to
couldn't do
edit
it
that
last
out.
week because
He was here. He could focus.
See, that's not big enough for me to be impressed.
That's a big ice cube.
No,
That fell from the sky.
I've seen bigger ice cubes before.
Well,
It's like
Connor,
it's
that
like the size of a quarter, bro.
Connor, that fell from the sky and hit the ground.
I can go
So
up
it's probably even bigger.
I can go
And
up
that's a broken piece.
to a 10-story building
Yeah.
and drop a bigger ice cube than that easily.
Okay, but when that hits the ground,
it's the size of a fucking quarter, bro.
that's a big ice. It's falling from the sky.
Quarter.
It's falling from the sky. That's
Quarter's big
dangerous.
now.
That's a don't go outside level of hail.
If you're a baby or an old person with a soft head,
You want to fucking go out there with that fucking size of hail?
it'll hurt. I'll be fine.
No, Connor, it won't hurt. It'll knock your ass out.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
It'll do
That's the thing
severe
that-
damage to you. What are you talking about?
No,
You're not
no,
fucking
no.
Superman.
Yeah, I'm not Superman, but I'm not a wimp. All right, I could take a fucking.
You're not a
I
wimp.
could take it right. to
You're
the
not
head.
a wimp.
No,
No, you pussy.
no.
I'm saying it right now. You full-blown fucking
I'm
pussy.
saying I'll go out in the hailstorm, and you're calling me a pussy.
That fucking piece of
hitting-
hail will knock your ass the fuck out.
No, it won't.
It's falling from the sky.
Look, it cracked his window because it's weak.
No, it
and
didn't
not
crack. It
strong
didn't
like
crack.
mine.
It didn't crack.
Oh.
It's just very loud, and it's like banging on the glass door.
Oh, very scary. Don't stand next to the window, buddy.
I'm not. I mean, I'm a fair distance away from it. It's just very loud.
Yeah, that's very scary. Very scary.
We've lost the
I
point,
know
though.
you're scared. I can-
Think of the cats. How scared are they
Cats
right
might
now?
be
Look at
scared.
Look
Cats
at
might
it's
be
like
scared.
in my corner of the desk.
He's doing. Oh, they're hiding. They're hiding.
Yeah. Wimps. Well, the third distraction
No.
this episode, maybe fourth.
Has it been that many?
Well, there was the trophy one. Technically, the remaster remake was a distraction from our
That
usual
was a
program.
conversation. You know,
It
we're
was.
talking about games. We're talking about video games and stuff.
Distractions can be good, but then you had
My cats
the
are very
hail stuff,
scared.
and now you got the cats. That's 4 by my count. 3, if I'm.
I think
being-
Phil's just looking for an out on this review. He just doesn't want to do it.
I'm really not.
Man.
I mean, I'll review it if you want me to that bad. God damn.
Nah, it's not going to get us anything. It's fine.
But anyway, I love the game. I love it a lot. I'm having a great time. I was playing it in front of Ash the other day, and we're
Oh, we're losing him.
it was bound to happen.
We're losing him.
What a waste.
This week might just turn into us talking for another 10 minutes and calling it there. You know?
Hey, sometimes that happens. So, conversation piece,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Oh, I thought you had something. Quit.
Sometimes I think if I say something, another like the truth is going to pop into my head.
Right.
It didn't. Not this time around.
Here's the thing. I don't want to return to the remake conversation, but my stubborn ass one. Like, I just don't understand how people get caught up in these things.
I find it pretty simple. The most complicated one was the Final Fantasy VII remake. It's a remake, but it was kind of misleading as well.
Oh, yeah, 100% was misleading.
Yeah.
100%
Nice.
was
I like it a
misleading.
lot.
Oh, he's there. But other than
Yeah.
that,
It's super cute.
yeah, I don't really usually have much of a difficulty. On what you were saying earlier, if it's built from the ground up, it by definition is remake.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like an impressive one.
Yeah.
Like Mario and the Thousand Door.
Thousand Year Door.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 1. What's another one? I don't even know. It's just, all right, we're getting that game again.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I don't know.
I
Some people just-
love remakes. I think they're fantastic. You know?
Yeah, it depends how they're done, of course. Like,
Hasn't been hasn't been one in the last couple of years that I haven't liked. That I've played.
yeah.
Of course, I think he's gone.
Gone.
I think there's been some
I'm
that
back.
he's back. There have been some that like critically like haven't done super well, but I've always enjoyed them. Dead Space, for example, one of the best remakes ever made, hands down. Can't believe we're not getting a Dead Space 2 remake. The Resident Evil run that they've been on has been great. Even people didn't like Resident Evil 3 so much, but I thought it was still a lot of fun and really good.